All right, guys, we are going to dive in to the miasma. It's a good word. That is who's who.
Define that.
I will not.
I've never heard that word
You
before in
never,
my
you never heard
life.
miasma? Well,
Not out of your
the
mouth.
onus is not on me because I
Onus. Oh
used
my
it.
goodness.
It's on you
It's
to
a
go
twofer.
to go figure out what it is. All right. So anyway, we're gonna be talking about who's who and what's new. Gonna remind you guys, just like I do every week, we have not crosstalk, shop talked these headlines at
Nope.
all. I went out today. I researched what was trending, found the ones that were the most interesting. Today, there's a couple of humorous ones. I scooped them up. We're gonna throw them up here. We're gonna talk about it. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, here we go. Boom. All right, so the Republican primaries are drawing to a close. That's not story number one. Let me back up here. Okay, so there is a conflict that's going on over in Israel right now.
I've heard about it.
Okay, excellent. So there's been a situation going on in some of the more liberal-minded urban areas where people are putting up not wanted posters. Whoopsie, not what I meant to say. Missing persons posters on like lamppost telephone poles and the like.
Yes.
All right, very common occurrence.
You talking about here in America?
Here in the United States, yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, people have been doing that. It's a common thing that happens whenever there's unrest and whatever in the world. Well, an interesting turn of events is that other individuals that have been more pro Hamas, I'm just going to say it, sympathetic to terror groups that are operating in the Middle East, have been going around and they've been pulling down these missing persons posters that have been being put up. It's a weird sentence, but have been going up, right? Mostly because, especially if they're of Jewish people. Well, anyway, so this video that I'm going to show you is kind of humorous, and I want to get your take on it. Can you let me know that you can hear this?
Guys, these people are putting razors in these papers.
Oh man.
Sue the shit out of them. Guys, these people are putting razors in these papers because people are snatching them out, and this is what's going on right now. Tell me who the real terrorist is. Who's the terrorist? Who does this? Who puts razors on papers? People are snatching them out because we know where the terrorism is coming from. 6,000 dead kids.
All right. So anyway, don't worry about the profanity. I'll go post edit that out. But so, you see what's going on over here?
Yeah. Now that's the first time that I had seen that. So let me get this right.
Yeah.
This is a pro-Palestinian person that is ripping down missing persons, and so that nobody can see it, and so they're putting razors behind the paper so that when people grab it, they're shredding their hands.
Yeah.
Is that? In one sense, though, it's a little ingenious.
That's what
keep your hands off my papers.
That's what I thought too. I was like, that is simple sabotage at its finest.
It really is. Yeah, watch them rip this one down. No,
but in all seriousness, like, what type of human garbage, right, goes around ripping down a missing person's photo? I wouldn't even do that to my enemies. If you have a loved one, and even if you and I are enemies and we are on opposing sides of an armed conflict, and then something happens, your loved one, your wife, your children, your parents, whatever, goes missing, and then you're going around and you're putting up missing persons photo. Even if you're my enemy, I'm not so cold-hearted that I'm going to go around and be like, screw your loved one's going to rip down your photos so that nobody can find your kids, your spouse. Like, what type of human garbage? And I want to be absolutely clear how I feel about this. Goes around removing a missing person's photo. Because what? Because they have a different religion than you?
Well, okay. And you got other stories we want to move on to really quick. But remember, these are the same people that are hollering, Death to you, even though this war started because my people came into your land and burned babies alive, chopped their heads off, killed parents in front of their children, killed children in front of their parents, massacred families. But you people are evil.
Yeah. Colonizers.
Okay.
Yeah. You're not going to unravel it. I do want to juxtapose this against images that I remember seeing post 9/11, right back in 2001, of people climbing the telephone poles to put up missing persons photos because they didn't want to cover the missing a photo from like another family. Do you remember seeing those pictures?
Yeah.
You know, and this used to be the United States. I'm old enough to remember that, guys, to where we had common decency for other people, regardless of what their religion was, regardless of what their race was. That was an American, and heads up, some of those missing persons photos that are being put up are of Americans that were in Israel.
Yeah.
Just absolute pieces of garbage, man. All right, moving right along. So the Republican primary is coming to a close. This is the one I accidentally started with. Flag on the field, 5 yards. Restart, first down. All right. Have you heard the term?
I see you're into football season.
Have you heard the term Bootgate? Have you caught up with this story yet?
No.
Okay. So apparently, Governor Ron DeSantis has been accused of wearing lifts in his shoes to make himself taller than what he is. That was my initial reaction to it as well, because he's wearing like snakeskin boots around to a lot of these events that he's doing. And it was the way that the boots were bending as he was walking in them that you're like, there's no foot in that front part of the boot that people were picking up on.
Who cares?
Thank you is what a reasonable person would say. But anyway, just so you guys don't think I'm full of ish. All right. So Ron DeSantis suggests anyone asking questions about his alleged use of lifts has a shoe fetish, and it's like he's trying to get as far away from this thing as he possibly can, which I completely understand. But here's my point that I wanted to anybody that's getting wrapped up in Bootgate, especially people that are on the right-hand side that are following the Republican primaries. Don't you guys have anything better to care about?
Listen. The guy is out there. Listen to his substance. Listen to what he's talking about policies. Judge him on that. Get off of his boots. Hey, don't step on his snakeskin shoes.
Ron DeSantis. He's very short. I've heard it said. He wears lifts in his shoes. I guarantee you he's going to be all over that, dude.
Why not? As long as here's the sad part.
Isn't the Don like 6'1"?
As long as you're doing that, nobody hears what he has to say about policy, and then there goes debate.
Right. Meanwhile,
out the window.
And I put these two stories back to back for a reason. Meanwhile, so that's what people on the right are talking about. Ron DeSantis, Bootgate. Bootgate! It's very important. All right. Meanwhile, this is what people on the left are talking about. And we'll see if you can't catch the striking difference here. Far right MAGA theocrats. Most dangerous threat to America. All right.
Do we have theocrats?
I honestly wouldn't even be angry right now if we did. Anyway.
I want to know who they are.
Right.
I want to examine them, and if they are true in faith, I would lift them up and say,
let's talk. Let's have a conversation. So anyway, the guy that wrote this, his name is Brian Kareem. Apologies if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly, but this is not a one-off theme from him. This was written November 2nd. It was published on Salon.com here. Going back just a few weeks to October 17th, he wrote this, right? Hamas and the GOP are both terrorist groups. It's just a matter of the degree. So while we're over here arguing about Ron DeSantis and whether or not he's wearing lifts in his shoes, which, okay, snicker. But seriously, Are you starting to understand like what the level of importance is? Like, do you understand how high the threat meter is getting? Right? If you were on the right side of the political aisle, if you would call yourself a conservative or even a Republican, this man just said the GOP, the grand old party, are terrorists. He is using that word very specifically. What do you do with terrorists?
You don't negotiate with them.
Right? So
that's a big deal. You don't negotiate with a terrorist.
I just want you guys to understand how high the threat meter is getting. I'm trying to wake you up out of your apathy and to see the direction that things are going. Now, albeit somebody out there is going to point out that, well, this is the stupid Access legacy media and nobody's paying attention to those guys anymore. Fair enough. And I hope that you're correct. I hope that is the case. I hope that they have lost all of their wasta, as it were. But
yeah, I hope, but that's not true.
Yeah.
They've lost a lot. But here's the other side. If in a human brain, if you're going to lower that definition of a terrorist in order to include the GOP, you raise the GOP. Okay, terrorists up here. You raise the GOP up into that. But in order to bring that even closer, that means you've softened what a terrorist is.
Yep.
Because you're equalizing that out by, before you and I started tonight, we were chatting and I said words have meanings.
Yeah, use the
unless you change the definitions.
Words have meanings, so use the right ones. We're out of time. That's all we had for you guys today. That is Who's Who and What's New. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Please, if you like the video, leave a like, subscribe, and follow. And then help us beat the algorithm by sharing the video with a friend. We need your guys' support. Hey, stick around for the Keeping the Main Thing, and we'll see you guys over there.
See you there.